Okay, okay. I never played this. We're gonna do this. I think I have to sit close to this TV. Oh my god, look at my sock. You're gonna love my socks. It's an internal save. Eternal save. Oh no, it's just eternally saving after all that work I went through. Great. Oh my god. Whoops. We save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save. It's never gonna start. Cut another day. We save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save. Never gonna start. Take another day. We save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save, we save. Never gonna start. Take another day. Take another day. Take another day. Is it ever gonna start? It's just broken. Come on. I don't want to start it again. It's broken. What the fuck? I'm supposed to look somewhere? I think it's broken. Oh my god. It's broken. I can't believe this happened to me right as I started. You want to tell scary stories? Fuck it. Okay. We're gonna tell Reddit scary stories then. Because it won't work. I don't mean to curse, sorry. Well, we couldn't play the game. I'm sorry it broke. Or there's like some malicious hacker. Who knows? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the developers broke it probably when they're making it, so we're gonna go to Reddit. Scary stories. Why do you always sign me out? Oh my god. I have to go into show not safe for content. Hold on. Okay, continue. Okay, some of these are like too I don't know the term. Some of these end up being like cringe, you know what I mean? Or just gross. So it just continues saving. Okay. Okay, so we either got paranormal, creepy stories, or ghost stories. I could go with ghost story. Haunted Hotel Spirit by Delulu for drama. Okay. It's in Reddit, true scary stories. I'm just waiting for my phone to charge. Okay. So about 20 years ago, I worked at a hotel that was about 100 years old. That was over 100 years old. We had a room that was rumored to be haunted. The room was old, and it was in a corner, kind of by itself. I went in with another manager. Once, we were curious, and the room was empty, but we heard what sounded like a quick laugh. Think hee hee from the bedroom, from the bathroom. I walked the 3 steps to that door, but the room was empty. We freaked out and went back to our office. Later that night, I was in the lobby managing an event when a couple came flying out of the elevator, ran to the front desk, and checked out with no explanation at 11 p.m. They looked pale and in a hurry. Turns out they were staying in that room. The front desk manager told me that it happened at least once a month. Creepy. Anyone else have any haunted hotel stories? Was it the Cecil in LA? I keep hearing terrifying stories about that hotel. No, further north in California, the Cecil has had crazy happenings. I've stayed in some haunted hotels and I love them. I'll absolutely not ever touch ground at the Cecil. I was shocked when I found out that I hadn't dreamed it. This is another story. by user 9_Magnus_6. A few days ago, I was sitting with my parents in their house. Suddenly, the topic turned to paranormal things into scary things. Because recently, something strange has been happening to my mother. My mother been reminding my father of the time when we were walking to my grandmother's house one evening. My father, my sister, mother, and me. I was the youngest then, only 6 years old. A woman dressed in white, holding a bowl in her hands, appeared in front of the four of us. We all froze in that moment. The woman in her white dress was floating in the air, and her legs were visible beneath the dress. She quickly turned towards the wheat field beside us, and we could see the waves in the wheat as she moved through it. My father began to follow her, while we, in my mother's arms, waited to see what would happen. Beyond the wheat field was a river. My father reached the river, but the woman was nowhere to be seen. She couldn't have crossed the river, so where did she disappear? My father returned pale, looked at my mother, and simply told us to keep walking. While my mother was telling this story, I jumped out of my chair and said that I had always thought I had dreamed it, and that this dream had haunted me for years, because I still remember it as clearly as day. My mother said that it really did happen, and from that day she no longer looked at the world the same way. My father was as pale as he was that day, terrified by mere thought of the event. The comments say, she was trying to show you where she died and where her body lay. But most importantly, why was she holding a bowl? And there was something in that bowl, we didn't see what it was. I'm sorry, OP, but your dad would not survive a horror movie. Why would you follow that? It turned, clearly was trying to avoid you guys. Not even, he knows why he did it, only said that he was scared to death, and now with a clear mind, he wouldn't have acted the same way as he did back then. But thank God, nothing happened to him even then. I wonder if she is someone who died around the area. A farmer's wife, daughter. Did you look into it? More eerie than scary, but not unpleasant. User just dash replacement dash 750. Different story. I was studying at a college near Morrisville, Vermont, about a quarter century ago. It is very wild and beautiful up there, and not a lot of people. Relevant to the plot is I was taking a lot of courses in Abenaki native history from tribal ambassador and scholar. I lived up on Elmer Mountain, which is a blade of rock that dominates the local skyline. The back road home from school was very long, wild, and winding route that followed a river for many miles and then goes by switchbacks up into the mountains for more miles. One night I was going One night I was again taking the long way as I'm adventurous. The full moon high up in the sky was the unusual large and bright harvest moon. The landscape glowed with a magical light. I had avoided smoking much in the way of pot at school, but now that I had graduated and was unemployed, I had more free time and had scored a joint of good stuff. I had gone up the river about 10 miles when I came to a pull-out after a bridge and thought it would be a nice private place to toke up. As I stood outside my car, suddenly in the middle of the mine, telepathic, a voice began to speak to me. I never had an experience quite like that before. I thought it was very odd that I could hear a voice, what seemed like a center of my brain. A couple sent the voice said to me, "We are the old ones." Then the voice said, "We have lived around the lake forever. Northern Vermont has Lake Champlain, which is considered to be one of the Great Lakes geologically. Although you won't find it in popular literature, it is known as such scientifically. These were the lakes I think the voice meant. The local Abenaki tribe is up in Swanton, which is on Lake Champlain. I was not sure who the old ones were. Seemed the most likely explanation were Algonquian tribal ancestors such as the Abenaki. This place I was at seemed highly likely to be an old village site. In fact, I just had a very strange dream." I'm not finishing that one. That guy's on, obviously. Fine, we'll finish it. Which is relevant to the plot is I was taking a lot of courses in Abenaki Native history. One night I was again taking a long way. As I stood outside my car, suddenly in the middle of my mind, heard a voice. I thought it very odd that I could hear a voice. There's a couple sentences. Or the old ones. I was not sure who the old ones were. The place I was at seemed highly likely to be an old village site. In fact, I just had a very strange dream, just like last night, about just such things, which is an odd coincidence as I'm writing this the next day. The other possibility being a couple of types of cryptids that I have identified as also being around the Great Lakes, a type of giant beaver and giant lake serpents known as champ, and the one from Lake Memphremagog. I have to read these before I read on my sword of God. The reason for the season. Let me look at a different one. Let's look at paranormal. Ooh, no sleep. You wanna? I haven't joined that. Scary short stories. Scary stories from the web. Short scary stories. Let's go to no sleep. I'll try no sleep. By the time you read this, I'll be dead. 9 hours ago. Night 2 exclusive. User Night 2 exclusive. I lived in a family of 5. We were constantly moving to ghetto houses every 2 years, which I found odd, all of which were small and barely had any room. So growing up was such a challenge, especially with my 2 brothers. They were both 7 years old, while I was 13. So you can imagine they were golden pairs. They both would always whine to get their way and throw worst tantrums you'll ever witness to get it. However, sometimes my parents, who cherished and spoiled them beyond comprehension, sometimes. Do people write these stories on purpose? Just. Sometimes. It's so hard to read your stuff, especially in Far Cry. Oh my god, those sit reps I have to read. I'm sorry, I'm going on. Got fed up with the behavior, which is how the whole thing started. Before the whole thing started, we ended up moving once again. This time, the house seemed like a mansion compared to our old neighborhood. And the neighborhood could be Beverly Hills for all I could comprehend. So me and my family settled in after some time, and everything was good. I was at the peak of my life until I started getting insomnia again. My parents took me to a doctor, but I could tell he hated me. He wasn't all playful like he would to a kid, which I was grateful he wasn't, but he wouldn't even ask me a simple "how are you?" or even a "hey." He just looked at me with a blank face, resisting the urge to frown. After a couple of weeks of meeting with my doctor, my mom came up to me with something in her hand. She told me, "Honey, I finally got your medication from Dr. Wanon." She showed me the pills I would be taking, except I found this odd because I saw the exact same bottles of pills on the doctor's desk, except the pills inside had a different color and even a different shape. While I did find this odd, I ignored it, popped the pill, and went back to playing my game. I was actually dozing off, and I eventually fell asleep. But what I experienced during the sleep makes me wish I just kept my former ongoing insomnia. I was in a nightmare, but this one was different from any other nightmare. I was in the living room, watching television, like I usually was, except I saw that my backyard door was open. I got up to close it and I went back down. When I looked back, it was still open. So I tried to close it again. When I went back to the couch, it was still open. In fact, it looked like I never even budged it. I gave up, thinking the door was broken. Thought that my parents were busy somewhere. My brothers. So I continued to watch television until I saw a shadow walk past the backyard. My heart pounded harder than thunder. I immediately ran upstairs for my parents, but then I remembered that they weren't here. When I realized that I wanted to die, I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and dialed 911, but for some reason, the call was literally declined. Took another pair of balls to go out to check the yard, and nothing was there. When I looked back, the back door was closed. Heard a voice. I vomit blood. Before I have time to look back, a third demon hops the fence and somehow gouges out my eyes. All I could do is hear laughter. Jesus fudge! It's too late, I already swallowed one. Okay, no more. I'm scared. You have a good day.